It's time for the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Powerful and liberating business strategies you can start in 5 minutes or less. Now, here's your host, Dean Soto.
Hey, what is up? It's Dean Soto, founder of FreedomIn5Minutes.com and ProSulam.com, and we're here again for another Freedom in 5 Minutes episode. Today's topic is this: automating lead generation can still be personal. That and more coming up. Good evening, guys. Wow, this has been awesome. So I'm down in Southern California and in the Orange County area, and we've been doing some talks at WeWork. The topic is on cold email lead generation, and really neat topic. Over here in Costa, so we were doing these talks in Costa Mesa, and I was getting up and it was interesting. So the first time we actually even talked about this particular subject, had these real estate guys who were super, they were dressed super nicely, but they were also like checking their phone and so on, and just kind of were not really engaging well in the presentation. And so long and the short is that, so I asked this question. I said, hey, what do buyers care about most? When someone's buying a service from you, what do buyers care about most? And I started picking some people. And so eventually I picked on these real estate guys. And the real estate guys were like, oh, well, they want you to know your stuff, the market, they want a value, they want all this other stuff, right? So as I'm like, yeah, that's great. Well, that sounds good. And I said, well, those are great answers, but what if you know your market? What if you are able to deliver value and so on, but you are a jerk? And I did not use the word jerk. I used a much harsher word that I cannot say on here without it being explicit. But what if you're a jerk? Are they going to want to work with you? More than likely, they will not, because they don't like you. So buyers, because you're a buyer, I'm a buyer, we like working with people who we like, who we feel care about you, right? And so the more that you can give that feeling, the more that you can show that you actually truly care, the more that when you're reaching out in lead generation, when you're reaching out in different ways, the more that you can convey that you truly care about the person that you're working with, plus you're able to give them what they want and all the value and everything like that, the more powerful your sales and lead generation can become. So in this presentation, I showed that you can use cold emails in mass. Like, you can literally automate and mass send out emails in a system and still make them personal, okay? And still show that you actually care about people. Now, it doesn't mean that you personally have to sit there and write a personal email, but that you can develop systems. You can do it in 5 minutes or less if you go to FreedomIn5Minutes.com or ProSulam.com. But you can develop systems where your team or an outsourced team or whomever you want can literally reach out to people in a systematic way, import a spreadsheet full of just customized information into something like Close CRM or Mailshake or Yesware, and send out cold emails that are extremely personal. So in this presentation, I show a couple of emails that I had sent the previous week, and the emails will say, hey, Eric, I saw, your blog post on 529s and saving for college. And I love where you say that yada, 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 whatever it might be. You see that it's personal. And then the response back, I show the responses of people who set up meetings because of it, to the point where they one of them even said, hey, I'm so glad that you read the article before sending the email. That's really impressive. And I'm like, well, I didn't read the article, but someone on my staff did. Someone that's paid a lot less than I am, who's super valuable, super amazing, but arbitrage overseas, they are the ones who did it, right? And so so I'm showing this, and people's eyes and their jaws literally drop, that you can create these massive systems that normally people would just shoot thousands of emails that are completely unpersonalized and be marked as spam, and end up going into the junk folder. You can send these really high, powerful emails to the point where, on average, we're getting about 50% open rates on our emails, which is unheard of even for warm emails, right? So why is this important? It's important because no matter what you are doing, in any setup that you have when it has to do with business, people want to feel valued. The more that you can give value ahead of time, the more you will win, the more you will make sales. And so just because you systemize something, just because you make it so you make something that works with or without you, something that works automatically, does not mean you need to sacrifice that custom, that personal attention, what one of my mentors calls, Jermaine Griggs, he calls scaling personal attention. It does not mean that you need to sacrifice that. You can set up systems that truly meet people where they're at and give a ton of value on a mass scale. And the more that you can do that, the more you are going to make sales. So what's one thing right now? How is your lead generation right now working? How are you reaching out to customers? Is it en masse? Are you just sending spammy LinkedIn messages? Or is it truly customized to people? That's what we want to see, right? That's what I challenge you to do this week, is make something truly customized, something that reaches out to people, and something that is in a systematic format. All right, so Dean Soto, Freedom in 5 Minutes. Go check out freedomin5minutes.com. You can also check out prosulum.com, prosulum.com, and get a virtual systems architect. A virtual systems architect that you can show how to do something in 5 minutes. They document the entire thing step by step, and then they do it for you. That is amazing. You never have to do it ever again if you don't want to. You can literally outsource and offload and automate your entire business in 5 minutes a day in 30 days or less. So, this is Dean Soto, freedomin5minutes.com, and I will see you in the next Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast episode.
Thanks for listening to the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Now, head over to www.freedomin5minutes.com and register for our free masterclass and discover how to start systemizing and automating your entire business 5 minutes at a time. We'll see you next time on the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast.